Now, in the revenge and rivalry thing too, one of the most notable aspects for like this Nemesis program is its way of handling the revenge. Okay, now if a player is killed by an enemy, and that enemy uh, becomes promoted within the ranks. That's what I was talking to you about. Okay,
Mm.
and their appearance and their demeanor and their power, like you said, could change. You know what I mean? And that's what happens with it. Now, if they die, they're replaced by another one that takes its place. They might even taunt you uh, when they encounter you again. They'll say smart-ass remarks like I was talking about, or say that
Yeah.
they're so happy to finish the job they just started. You know what I mean, or some shit like that. So it creates a really personal kind of narrative between you and the game. You know what I mean? It's kind of a
Mm.
form of revenge. You know what I mean? So it does make it a lot better. Now, with the whole thing about the hierarchy and the faction systems too, like enemies in Shadow of Mordor are set up like the other game that I haven't played yet, but I want to play it. It's called the Shadow of War, and they belong to that hierarchy or ranks, like I was telling you, um, and they're all a part of they're all part of factions. Okay, and 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 this is supposed to be kind of like the orcs in Mordor that I played, but I believe there's more people or more not people but characters other than orcs now in this new one. I haven't been able to play Shadow of War yet, so.
Mm.
But basically, like as the enemies rise to the ranks, they gain like new abilities and strengths and also new weapons. And this is all done through this nemesis system that the game has, and it allows like these ranks to shift. And they're supposed to be done dynamically, and this is based on the player's action. So, like a
Okay.
low-ranking enemy could rise to power if they kill the player. You know what I mean? You have some poor
Mm.
schmuck out there who got lucky and killed you, and all of a sudden he's a general. You know what I mean? So because in this game you're like surrounded by 20 freaking orcs, man, and you have to fight them, which they give you the option to parry and then strike. So you start getting really good at freaking fighting with the parry button and then striking, but then there's some little asshole with a bow that has no rank whatsoever and kills you by shooting you in the head. You know, from way over there.
Indeed. Yeah.
And it pisses you off, but it also freaking makes the game more interesting. That was the thing that I really made me mad. Don't get me wrong, but it really got me fired up, and that's what I think games should do. You know what I mean? It should make it to where you're excited to actually play the game, and you get mad at the players that you're playing against. So that's
Make it challenging. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. One thing I do not hate about, especially modern games, is all the handheld holding. This is why I prefer games like Morrowind over Skyrim and Oblivion. Morrowind, you were just given a written set of instructions, directions, whereas in the latter Elder Scrolls games, there's always sort of arrow marks and pointers where you've got to go.
Yeah.
So
That-
yeah, it gives you the chance to think. Yeah.
Now you can get a map though in Morrowind, right? But you have to get the book for it.
Yeah,
You,
but yeah, you've got a challenge to actually get to that
right. You have to
situation.
actually work at finding the book so that you can have a map, and that's the way they do it in Minecraft. So I try to stay away from that shit. That's why Morrowind has like a. Because I'm gonna say it again, okay? I know what you Minecrafters are. You're horrible, horrible little 5-year-olds, and I ain't got no problem with talking
I've
shit.
only played Minecraft once for about half an hour.
It's the players that
Yeah,
are
about
so
30
bad.
minutes.
It's the players that are so bad. Like you hang out with gamers, man. Gamers are cool as hell, all right. But when you go into
Mm.
the world of Minecraft, all right, you have these little freaking griefers. That's what they call them. They're little griefers. They're little 6-year-olds. Okay. And they get on there and they talk
Yeah.
smack to you and they treat you like shit, dude. And it's bad enough that freaking they're like 6 years old, but you get to the point where you want to just smack them around and talk cuss words to them all the time, And I'm like, nah, dude, I am not doing that shit. I feel bad when I'm with my nephews and nieces and they were young and freaking they were killing me at freaking you know games like freaking Modern Warfare. Like my nephew could kill me with a Bowie knife, and it made me
Really?
so mad. And I freaking finally say a cuss word and shit, and I felt bad about it. And then they conned me into trying Minecraft, and that was even worse than freaking Modern Warfare because now you have like a whole army of 6-year-olds that do the same shit.
Sounds fun.
So and it's not cool being
That's really
in your
fun.
it's not cool being in your 30s and having like 10-year-old kids freaking and talking shit to you. You know what I mean? It's not cool because you feel defenseless. But Morrowind kind of reminds me of Minecraft because of that. The only issue I had with the old version of Morrowind was like when you opened doors and you went through it, like there was a good chance you could get stuck in the door. So you had to be careful. You remember that?
Um, not sure. Probably not versions I played because I think it was a sort of earlier release. I know they had a couple two DLCs that they actually added patches to.
Since
If I remember rightly, it was the sort of Game of the Year editions I was playing.
well, since we
know that whatever company it was releasing sort of Game of the Year editions, which were totally patched and with all the DLCs in.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should probably get back into this thing about Mordor and the Shadow of War because I really don't want to sit and badmouth 5-year-olds. I like doing that when it comes to mine. I don't know if I really should be doing that. I know that I really shouldn't be doing it. So now we can talk a little bit about the procedural generation when it comes to the game. Okay, and there is procedural generation in Mordor. And they use it with the enemies. Now the Nemesis system is it uses the procedural generation to create enemies with like different traits. And the thing of it is they also create like backstories for them too. And this is all just randomly generated. Now, for
Yeah.
me, for me personally, I mean, when I went over procedural generation, there could be good points to it, and then there could be bad points. You know what I mean? Like overdoing like the randomness, like too much randomness, because like there are games where I've
Mm,
seen that where they get into that too much and like generating different terrains and stuff. You'll see a lot of problems they have. Well, like in Minecraft, you know, where it's real repetitive and kind of generic. So that was
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
some,
Yeah. Yeah. Seen,
that was something that I did see in that, and that's
yeah.
why.
I've seen that.
Um, Now, I mean, it with what we were talking about on Friday. I was debating on getting into that conversation before I started talking about this, but I mean, this is probably a good time to start talking about it. You know what I mean? Because like
Mm,
with this whole thing about the whole backstories and the different traits that your enemies have, this means that while the game story and the settings all remain fixed, the enemies that you face, they're generated on the fly and with like random characteristics and stuff. You know, um, and that's what they do. They do this procedurally. They also assign names and
mm.
personalities and stuff like that, and like they'll even have like unique scars and marks that like is supposed to reflect like past encounters with you and stuff. So like if you beat them in a battle and freaking they have a scar on their face that's caused from it, it'll stay on there,
Okay.
and it's all procedurally generated.
Sort of. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because we
I've
know
come
how,
across similar.
we,
Yeah, I've come across similar sort of games, or similar sort of concepts.
where did you come across them?
Just trying to remember some. Mountain. I think Mountain Blade had a couple sort of. Well, yeah, Mountain Blade was a lot of procedural generated sort of landscapes. If you remember that game.
What one was it?
Mount and Blade.
No, Mountain Play.
Mount and Blade.
Oh, Mount and
Manta,
Blade.
Manta Halls.
Yeah, Mount
Yeah,
and Blade. I'm gonna have
Blade.
to. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Gonna have to Google that. This is probably one of those really, really old games too, isn't it? Oh no, this is actually
Not
relative.
overly old.
Yeah, this is relatively new for our generation. Mountain Blade game,
Yeah.
PC and UHD. That's cool. No, I haven't played this one.
Uh-huh.
A game
Not
you've
so much of a plot, but it's just sort of civilizations crossed with uh what was the war first person sort of view war games? Can't think of any. Shogun. No,
never.
but yeah, it was a civilization crossed with sort of military tactics sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. What I'll do is
Medieval military tactics.
I'll pull a link in, or I'll put a link in the chat. That way, if anybody wants to find the search results for it, they can. That actually does
Hmm.
look kind of cool. If you're into the older games, that does look kind of cool. I'll check that.